Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope now you can see my presentation.
Yes, we can see your presentation and we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. For Cooperative Bank, we are, as you said, rightly said, we are you. And during this season, of course, we ask ourselves, how can we support, especially the pharmaceuticals sector during this season when they so much need a solution that will help them enhance the supply chain. And of course, the supply chain that we're talking about is something that looks at the entire ecosystem. We are talking about a supply chain that puts together the entire ecosystem in the healthcare, right from when the drugs or the medicines are produced, all the way to when it gets to the final user, that is the patient. I like the opening remarks this morning, where the cabinet secretary said one of the biggest challenges we have today is how do we move from point A to point B in an efficient way and in a way that supports the entire ecosystem. And in this time, of course, as we're saying, what we have seen during this season of coronavirus, the biggest challenge we have had in the pharmaceutical sector, the biggest challenge has been in supply chain. That is where we have realized a big challenge in moving of goods from one jurisdiction to another. Remember, with the lockdowns that we had, of course, it meant very few goods were flowing from one ecosystem to another, or from one part of the world to another. And because of that, then many organizations, many manufacturers have gone back to the drawing table just to ask themselves, how can we be able to be more sustainable? How can we be able to look more long-term in a view of ensuring that, we do not have challenges when it comes to maybe availability of raw materials, and even when it comes to looking at the side of the distributor side to ensure that we have enough stocks with our customers. So as a bank, ours is really to offer a value proposition that will support the entire ecosystem so that we do not have any breaks or we do not have challenges within the value chain that causes either non-delivery or delays in ensuring that the customer gets what they need to do. So having said that, then what are the key success factors in this ecosystem? The key success factor then becomes, of course, the research and development, and of course, delivery of Medicare. And for that, then a lot of investment has to go into place, whether it is on capital expenditure or whether it is in the working capital. Why is that important? And especially at such a time, of course, as many people try to enhance their delivery or their production, of course, then this becomes very, very critical because for you to be able to grow, then an investment has to be put in place. And as a bank, we are saying, yes, we want to step into this space to ensure that we are offering the right solutions to be able to, bridge the gap that comes in either capital expenditure or even working capital. As you may realize, then, with these moving parts, then we have seen a lot of challenges when it comes to customers being able to access finance. And one of the reasons is because the conversion cycles have also changed. And they have changed because you will realize because of the law, I mean, the economy has also not been doing very well. So it is becoming extremely difficult to even collect the debts that have already been paid, for orders that have already been made. So because of that, then it means a lot of cash, a lot of money have been tied into assets. And therefore, ours is to ask ourselves, how can we help you unlock that for purposes of ensuring you're able to reach the market? The other item that we would really want to say, during this presentation is to ask ourselves, what are those solutions that we are bringing on the table to support either the supplier side or the distributor side? Because in this ecosystem, then it is important to check on what the suppliers are doing and what kind of relationship you can hold with those suppliers. And on the distributor side, do they have the necessary stock? Do they have the right levels of stocking for them to be able to support the ecosystem? So moving forward, what are the challenge? What kind of needs and challenges are we seeing in each level? Of course, at the corporate level, this is the manufacturer level. What we see a lot is an inadequate capital, and listening through some of the manufacturers that we've been able to meet during this season. Of course, the other one is adequate stocks, whether in form of raw materials or even in finished goods. And of course, realizing also that we are operating in a regulated environment. Of course, there is a competition and emerging and even existing players in the market. So how can we support so that then all these factors put together as a bank, we can be able to give you a solution. When it comes to the supplier side, of course, of these manufacturers have suppliers. Again, they require adequate capital for them to be able to avail the necessary raw materials. And these raw materials, of course, could either be coming from internally or even externally. And in this, then we're asking ourselves, for those people who are importing or for those people who are exporting, how can we facilitate them as a bank so that then financing does not become a challenge? Of course, that also comes with increased challenges when it comes, once, of course, you import, there are the regulations. And of course, as you all know, of course, you have to do the necessary, mobilization or logistics from clearing of these goods at the port all the way to paying duties and all the way to delivering them to the final destination. So again, some of these people will require some, financing in form of working capital to be able to facilitate that happen. On the lower side of the pie, again, we see the retailers and of course, the wholesalers and the other distributors. Again, they need the necessary stocks to be able to be optimally stocked so that then they can be able to serve their customers better. And out of that, then we see, again, a lot of challenges on the other side is adequate working capital for them to be able to access some of the supplies they need. Of course, they will need money in form of working capital. Here again, in this level, again, we see a lot of diversion where, for example, as a bank, we have given a solution to some of these customers in form of working capital. There's a lot of diversion. This is where people are not only looking at growing their business. Of course, they're also looking at their own personal needs. They're also looking at investing to other areas, especially where they feel one of their businesses is not working very well. So they would like to do other things that are not necessarily their core. So out of that, they end up doing a lot of diversion. And that is the reason why, as a bank, then we have come back and say, let's work together with the various players to ensure that we are solutioning them and we are locking whatever money that has been disbursed for the purposes of this, so that that money is not put into other use. So we have all these mechanisms with the solutions that we have. And one of the solutions that becomes then very critical in this area are solutions that will help them facilitate, as opposed to a solution that enables the customer put the money for the purpose to which it is required. So some of the solutions, of course, are around the importation. When customers are importing their goods, most of the customers will come and say, we do not have the necessary cash to send upfront. And of course, as a bank, we realize that, again, even sending that cash upfront to the suppliers, wherever they are in every part of the country, it becomes a risk to send the money in advance before you get your goods. So we facilitate the customers with letters of credit, so that then we are able to mitigate the challenges around delayed goods. We are also able to mitigate the challenges against quality of goods, because then at any point when we put in a letter of credit, we ensure that one of the conditions is that the goods must be inspected even before they are shipped, and that way the quality is maintained. And that again helps address the area of regulatory and environmental concerns that we find ourselves in every day. The other thing that the letters of credit are able to support is delay of goods, so that then you get your goods in a timely manner and on time. What does that mean? It means then whenever you have a production, or if you are actually importing finished goods, you will be able to get your orders in good time. So for us to be of value to this customer, then it is important that we put all this together. Of course, letters of credit also come with insurance, so that in case of anything happening to these goods, whether in transit or whether in transit or even at when they get to the site, they come with an insurance cover. And this again goes to support the customer so that they do not get into certain risks. Now, once we give you a letter of credit, of course, important also to say, sometimes you may require some form of post-import finance. And the post-import finance we are talking about here is sometimes you may import these goods and you may not be able to convert the goods into cash immediately. So what we do is we give you an extra facility that allows you to make payment to your suppliers as you wait to convert the goods to cash. And by the time you get the goods to the market, by the time the payment comes through, then the bank is able to give you that reprieve. Again, on post-import, we are able to pay for any duties and even for any logistics. That is to some of, especially when you're doing the transportation, and even at the point when you are actually paying the duty. So the bank comes in handy to support you and to hold your hand all the way. Now, sometimes, of course, now coming back to our local ecosystems, again, we are able to unlock the various purchase orders. For example, let me give you an example where a hospital, for example, requires some medicine from one of the biggest wholesalers. It could be Kemsa, it could be the other big wholesalers. and I mean distributors. So what normally happens is that yes, the hospital may not have the cash immediately, but they can place a purchase order to get the medicine. So in such a case, then the bank comes in and says, you may not have the money right now, but we are able to give you a facility that enables you meet your purchase orders, and we can be able to settle whoever it is, whoever the supplier is, and out of that, then you can be able to access them, the drugs or whatever pharmaceuticals that you may require. Moving forward, other solutions that have, again, are very critical within this segment of customers are bank guarantees, whether in form of credit guarantees or even performance guarantees. Remember, again, just like my, the former presentation that was done, one of the areas that, we are supposed to invest in during this time, again, is investing even in equipment, and even as people also invest in the infrastructure. How are we supporting these customers? Again, with performance guarantees for people who are putting up construction. So we support you with that for your suppliers, and for credit guarantees where then you require regular supplies and you would like to establish a credit line with your supplier. Again, we come in to give them a credit guarantee, and they are able to provide you whatever supplies you need at whatever time. So these are some of the areas we are looking at to support you in accessing or unlocking your cash flows. And I believe then we should be able to support the various segments, whether it's a corporate client, whether it's a manufacturer, whether it's the supplier, or even their distributors. Now, I'm moving forward, and especially now that we're having a conversation around supply chain, how does it do, how does it help the entire ecosystem? We are saying supply chain financing is not just about increasing your working capital, it's about strengthening the trading relationship with your supply chain, and even using better data to grow your business. We say this because, again, remember, if you do not have a good relationship with your suppliers, then it means your suppliers will not be regular, or they will not be there for you every time you need them. So ours is to help you enhance that relationship by ensuring that we support you with the suppliers, and ensuring that you avail whatever, whether it is the payment or whether it is commitments that you're making to them, we are able to avail whatever solution it is to ensure that then you maintain that relationship. The other item, which is also very important, is how you're working with your distributors and even all the other outlets that are on the downline. Again, here, what we do is we have a solution that enables you to increase or to supply or stocks to your distributors, and as we pay you in good time. So how this works again is we look for you give us data to look at how you have traded with your distributors or your outlets, and out of that we are able to allocate certain facilities for them that enable them access stock from either the stockist, from the distributor, or even from the manufacturer. So that helps you, that relieves you the headache of, having to collect debt. It relieves you the headache of bad debts. And, we come through as a bank to do what we know best, which is financing, as you deal with the more strategic issues of, growing and even doing research. Now, how does that flow? And of course, I think I've already talked to this. How does that flow? We definitely are looking at financing an ecosystem. Remember how this works is that we are saying we don't want to rely on the traditional lending. We want to look at, the supply chain in a way that helps you unlock even where you may not have collateral. So, and the biggest challenge, of course, we have had in this market is, customers not being able to avail the necessary collateral. So we look at it is more anchor based, where we are looking at the corporate, and the corporate is able to to tell us who are their suppliers and who are their distributors. Now, with your suppliers, of course, that is what you're calling supply chain finance. With your distributors, that is what we call distributor finance. So with your suppliers, definitely once your distributor, with your suppliers, immediately your suppliers supply to you, we are able to make that payment to them, and we are left to collect from you. And what does that mean? It means it gives us an opportunity to look at your cash conversion cycle. We are able to know how many days does it take you to do your sales? How many days does it take you to convert raw materials to to finished goods? And once we are able to establish that, then we are able to give you facilities that match that kind of duration or that kind of tenor. Now, when it comes again to your distributors, we are looking at the distributors and that is the wholesalers. We are looking at the chemists. We are looking at the hospitals. We are looking at, even the faith-based hospitals, just to ask ourselves, these are the outlets of whatever it is you're producing. How do we make it efficient for you to collect that money? And then we come in as a bank to support you in collection of that money in an efficient way. And we get into your shoes and collect on your behalf as we let you do the more strategic things. So, of course, I've already talked about why financing, why we are doing this. Because again, we are saying we want to allow you or to let you, grow and unleash your potential without having to have financing as a headache. And by that, then we are saying we don't want your stockists, we don't want your, the hospitals to just buy what they can afford. We want to unleash their potential and help them do more business. What is Cooperative Bank providing? Of course, for us, we in this space for the distributors, what we are providing is a solution that is what I would say a closed loop. Once we get into a partnership with you, we then agree. This is what this is the kind of distributors you have, or these are the kind of outlets you have. We come in and support those distributors or those outlets get the necessary or sufficient stock for purposes of selling to their customers or providing services to their suppliers. And in this, then, what again I think is very critical for us to understand is that in this, of course, we will require specific data for us, for maybe the last 1 year or for the last 2 years, so that can advise what kind of limits or what kind of credit facilities is sufficient for your stockists, for your distributors, or even for their outlets that you're dealing with. Why this is important is the risk I talked to earlier, which is the risk of diversion. Since we want to reduce that risk of diversion, then it is important that whatever lending we do actually goes into stock or into whatever it is that the customer is doing with within the partnership. So it's more of a partnership between us and the person who, or the manufacturer, or a big distributor, just to ensure that their stockists are actually able to access the necessary or the sufficient stock. Of course, I've already talked about it and why it is important. Ours is a win-win situation to ensure that then the stockists win, the manufacturer wins, the hospitals also win, because remember again, they require this on a regular basis and they require this in an affordable way. What is our commitment as a bank? Of course, our commitment in this area, and this really is what we have been doing, and especially with the partners that we have already worked with, and especially in this season, we have been giving additional funding for the customers, for the existing customers who have been with us, to enable them be able to increase their muscle in the market, to be able to also meet those unexpected situations that come, and especially during this time when you need to restock, you need more money for more stocks. Now that the vaccine is coming in, how can the bank also enhance or support in facilitating you get the necessary stocks? And of course, for us is, if you are already you are an existing, we give you an additional stock financing to do restocking. If you are not, if our customer, again, you're very welcome. Ours is, to sit down with you and, structure a facility that is sufficient for you, as long as it is within this framework. Now, the other thing that we do is loan restructuring and repayment holidays. This is something that we have been doing during this season, and for our customers, and even for customers who are stuck and we can be able to unlock their potential wherever else, they are also welcome. We have dedicated relationship management, and my colleague Angela, who just gave her opening remarks earlier, has a segment that deals with the health sector. And what we are doing with that, we have a fully fledged sector that deals with healthcare. And what we do is we have tried to learn and even to support them with necessary financial supports that need to be put in place. The other thing we have really done in that sector is also engaging other players in the market, whether it is the insurance sector, whether it is our funding partners, whether it is guarantors, who come in to support, especially in areas where customers are not able to unlock due to lack of sufficient security. So the sector under healthcare has done everything necessary to understand this area and to enhance so that financing does not become a challenge to them. Finally, I think for us is a call to action in terms of what we need in terms of the next steps. Ours is a commitment that, yes, indeed, we have various packages that we offer to our MSMEs. Of course, for corporate customers, we sit down with them and we are able to appreciate their business. We are able to appreciate what it is they are doing and what their objectives is, what is their vision, what is their mission. And out of that, we can be able to give them a solution that fits their needs, whether it is working capital, whether it is long-term financing, especially for infrastructure, or even for equipment financing. So at this level, we will be taking questions. And my team will also be supporting in any questions that will be coming across. We have Angela Muga and also Enid and Kenneth Kiprop, who will be taking any questions. So back to you.
Thank you, Dorcas. Thank you for your
Yes.
presentation. Very enlightening. It's not money for nothing, but I'm sure there is a catch. I have a question. Let's say a pharmacy has an order from a hospital, and they come to you to say that, can you support them? Let's say after the period where they are allowed to say 30 days credit, the hospital doesn't pay. Who takes the risk?
Thank you very much. So yes, as I said, this is a partnership, and you know, when we are giving that pharmacy we are giving that pharmacy the facility, definitely we have done the groundwork. So the bank will be taking the risk, and of course that is why I said we have various partners, and so normally the bank takes the risk, and of course our partner, or you know, the hospital will also be, ours is actually to follow up on the hospital to make the payment to us. We take the risk, and that is why the engagement with on a one-to-one is normally very important for us to be able to see where and how do we mitigate these risks together. Remember, it's an ecosystem, and we are doing this to support both the hospital and the pharmacy who has the drugs, and out of that, then we come in to say, yes, we know we know this hospital has this capacity, so we will be left with the risk of following up with the hospital. But it is always good to say that since the pharmacy also has leads with the hospital, they can always help us, you know, put in some pressure wherever the payment is not coming through.